Okay, so before we begin tonight's talk, I invite you to please join your hands together and you can repeat after me. Namo, fundamental teacher.
Namo, fundamental teacher.
Shakyamuni Buddha.
Shakyamuni Buddha.
Namo, fundamental teacher.
Namo, fundamental teacher.
Shakyamuni Buddha.
Shakyamuni Buddha.
Namo, fundamental teacher.
Namo, fundamental teacher.
Shakyamuni Buddha.
Shakyamuni Buddha.
The unsurpassed,
The unsurpassed,
profound,
profound,
subtle and wondrous Dharma.
subtle and wondrous Dharma.
It's difficult to encounter
It's difficult to encounter
in hundreds
in hundreds
of thousands
of thousands
of millions of kalpas.
of millions of kalpas.
I now see and hear it,
I now see and hear it.
receive and uphold it.
Receive and uphold it.
May we understand
May we understand
the true meaning
the true meaning
of the Tathagata.
of the Tathagata.
Namo Amituofo.
Namo Amituofo.
Okay, so today we continue to discuss the fundamentals of Buddhism. Each week we are discussing a topic, and in the previous 2 weeks we talk about the 6 Paramitas. Paramitas means to arrive on the other shore from Sanskrit. And now we are currently in the sea of suffering, swimming in the sea of suffering, struggling, maybe worries, afflictions, and through practicing the 6 practices, we can arrive on the other shore, the shore of liberation, the shore of freedom. So what are the first 3 practices we discussed in the previous 2 weeks? Anyone remember? So the 6 paramitas are, in Buddhism we call them bodhisattva practices. Bodhisattva is an awakened sentient beings who work for the benefit of all others. So if you can practice the 6 practices, then you can also be called a bodhisattva, like a mini bodhisattva, like a kindergarten bodhisattva, because we're not enlightened yet. But these practices can help you progress quickly on your spiritual journey. So what are the 3 practices we talked about in the previous 2 weeks, if you were here? Anyone?
Giving.
Yeah, first is giving, cultivating generosity. And why we should give?
Like to overcome the attachment.
Yes, very good.
It's a good one, overcome attachment and only give from pure heart, not because you feel you have to.
Yes. So also, the Buddha also said if you want to have good blessings in this life, you also practice giving. And the more you give, the more you gain. Right? In fact, I'm here talking tonight, sharing this. I gain the most because I have to started this before, and then again I'm talking and I'm revising. So there are 3 types of giving. Remember we discussed? What are the 3?
Giving wealth, giving wisdom, and or Dharma, and fearless giving.
Very good. So first is cultivate the practice of giving wealth or money. Maybe not all of them, but just according to your own ability. This can help us get rid of our greed and also our attachment to material possessions. Why greed and attachment, they're not good? What's the root cause of suffering in this world? Money. Money, it's okay. It's the attachment. It's attachment. Money by itself is what we call emptiness in nature. It means it's like a tool, neither good or bad, but it's like how you use it. And also your attachment. It's your attachment. It's not only money. If you're too attached to anything, because it's all impermanent, you cannot have them forever, or you may not get what you want. So all kinds of suffering arise when you have attachment, including to things, to people. And wealth is one of them. Material possession is one of them. And the second, giving of Dharma. Dharma means the Buddha's teachings. The Buddha's teaching reveals the truth of life and the universe. It's also we call wisdom. We call tonight's talk wisdom talk. It's Dharma talk, but if we put a word Dharma, a lot of people may not know what that means. So we just replace it with wisdom. Buddha really teaches us how to live wisely, to live a good, peaceful, and happy life. And if you give wisdom, you give Dharma, what will happen to you?
Gain wisdom.
Yeah, very good. You give and you will gain more. And then what are the third fearless giving? What's the fearless giving?
Like to not to kill other beings and to like try to protect like other beings and animals.
Yeah, so to try to, for instance, save lives, to not make others afraid of you. And also you can take care of sick people who are not well, you can maybe provide them with medicine, things like that. So to take good care of others, to not harm, not make them afraid of you. So what's the karma of that if you do this? What will be your karma?
Prosperity.
Very good. Prosperity, and most importantly, longevity and good health. Because you are saving lives. You're not making others afraid of you, and in turn you will also gain good health and longevity. Okay, and what's the second paramita, the second practice? So the first is giving, cultivating generosity, and second, do you remember we talked about last week?
I don't remember the name of it.
So, Pebble, any memory? It's all on YouTube. Okay, so second is precepts, principle of morality. Why it's important for us to live our life according to some principle, to have some morals, to put it bluntly. Maybe people don't like to discuss morality so much nowadays because people like to be like, I want to be free, I want to do what I want. But true freedom only comes from freedom of the mind. It does not mean you are really free if you can do what you want. And maybe a lot of people, maybe they're really wealthy, they can do what they want and all that, but they suffer a lot. And that's not freedom. That's not something we should be envy of, because a lot of people in this world have a lot of wealth, of social status, whatever, but they really suffer, or they fell into depression and all that, because they don't understand true freedom comes from the mind, and true freedom also comes from discipline. So certain degree of discipline is important. Also, with us doing meditation, it's also a form of discipline. And so the second is about precepts, moral principles. If we can observe the precepts, or we can live life according to certain moral principles, it can better prepare us to practice meditation. So we can better enter into what's called meditative concentration, which we're going to talk about it later today. What are the sort of 5 common precepts for lay Buddhist practitioners? When I say lay Buddhists, I mean not monks or nuns. That's another story. But people who are like starting on a path and they're a bit more serious, they want to be more committed, then you can consider taking up first there's 3 refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha. It's like you taking the 3 refuge. It's a bit like you are a student and you register into the school to be the Buddha's student. And Buddha, our teacher, we say fundamental teacher. Buddha is also our Buddha nature. Dharma, the Buddha's teaching, also means our original wisdom. Sangha, the monastic community that upholds and practices the Buddha's teachings. And Sangha also means our inner harmony. So there is the outer 3 refuge and inner 3 refuge, which we discussed before. And what are the 5 precepts for lay Buddhists to observe? Any idea?
Do not take what is not given.
Okay, no stealing, that's one of them.
No lying.
No lying, one of them.
No sexual misconduct.
No sexual misconduct, one of them.
No alcohol.
Final.
Okay.
And like this,
No cheating.
no cheating. That's under no sexual misconduct. Very good.
Yeah.
And first,
Killing.
no killing. Very good. So how to remember it? I have 3 bodily actions. No killing. Killing is the most serious, so we put it first. It ranks by the degree of seriousness. No killing, no lying. No killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no alcohol intoxicants. Now the alcohol intoxicant is to prevent the first 4 from happening. Now it doesn't mean that if you want to practice Buddhism, you can't drink. That's not what I'm saying here. This is like, if you are more serious about your practice, if you want to be more committed, okay, for beginners, there are no requirements, okay? It's only one at the point you feel, oh, I want to be very dedicated on my spiritual path. This could be something you think of. But I know this can be very challenging for people who live in the Western society because it's so common to go out to grab a drink. And if you don't do that, it's like, oh, maybe people think you're a bit weird. So, but this is very good for you, preventing the first 4 from happening. Because a lot of things, bad things are done under the influence of drugs and alcohol and any intoxicants that could cloud the mind. Okay, so these are the 5 common precepts or moral principles. If you, for anyone who wanna progress much further on the path, this is what you can consider taking. But a lot of them are actually common sense. Yes, and by not doing this, it will help you to have good karma in your life. If you commit this, then not very good karma. What you do will eventually come back to you. Yes. If you believe in the law of karma, the law of karma means the law of cause and effect. You reap what you sow. Okay, so first, cultivating generosity. 2nd precept. 3rd, forbearance or patience. Why we should cultivate forbearance or patience? To overcome what?
Ego.
Ego too? Yeah, very good. And also anger. And sometimes people cannot control the anger, not enough forbearance and patience, tolerance. We're saying it's like big heart. One should have a big heart to expand the heart, expand the mind, and try to see we all share the same Buddha nature. The Buddha said we all have the Buddha nature. What does the word Buddha mean? Awakened, awakened. Buddha nature means your awakened nature. Okay, Buddha from Sanskrit means awakened. Buddha is not God. Buddha did not say he creates everything, no. Whoever creates anything, if someone is really creating everything here, he's not doing a good job. No, Buddha is not saying he creates everything. If anything, your mind, your life is a product of your karma. Karma means intention, thoughts, acting through body, speech, and mind. So you create your life in a way. You create your own happiness and suffering. And this is a choice. You can choose. If you know the right practice and you follow it, you can actually transform your life. So forbearance, patience, to expand our heart, to try to see the Buddha nature within others, can help us overcome anger. And this is very important. So generosity helps us to overcome greed. Precepts helps us to overcome laziness, discipline. And forbearance helps us to overcome anger. And today we're going to talk about the last 3. If we have time, we cover all the last 3. So the 4th is diligence. So this is a progressive practice. First, you cultivate giving to let go of your attachment, your greed. And 2nd, precepts to be more disciplined, to overcome laziness. And 3rd, forbearance, to have a big heart, to overcome anger. And then you're coming to the fourth, it's called diligence. And what does diligence mean? Diligence in what?
In everything you do,
Very, very good, but particularly we're talking about this path.
in your actions,
More specific, what kind of actions? In our spiritual cultivation, right? In our meditation, if we want to transcend all suffering, if we want to arrive at the other shore, at the shore of liberation, of course we have to be diligent in our cultivation, in our meditation, in our mindfulness practice. That's why we gather here once a week. We're not doing it once a month, or we just forget about it. Actually, how often we should meditate?
every day,
How often every day?
once a day,
How long once a day?
at least 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
Then what happens with the rest of the hours? If you're not mindful.
Every day, every minute of the day.
More specific?
Always.
Every moment. Moment to moment. For beginners, they think, 10 minutes a day, enough. But it's not enough, I tell you. Diligent, moment to moment awareness, moment to moment mindfulness. Now, how we can actually keep moment to moment mindfulness? Why we need to keep moment to moment mindfulness? What happens when we are not mindful, we are not aware? What do you think? What happened?
We operate,
Unaware. Come unaware.
Unaware. And what happened? What's the result?
we operate in our flesh,
We operate what?
in our body,
In our body?
flesh.
No flesh.
Like we operate human desires.
You
take
can.
over.
Very
We
good.
don't.
Maybe your desire can take over, your greed can take over, your anger will take over, your feelings, your thoughts will take over, and you make mistakes. And why the boy keep making mistakes? Not mindful, you know? If you're not mindful, you're gonna make mistakes. Yeah. Oh, even, of course, we are humans, we all make mistakes. But let's just say, if you are aware, you're mindful, then if anger arises, what happens?
Aware of that anger
And
and
how to deal with it? Can you transform it? How?
Amitabha.
Okay, very good. So if a thought of anger arises, if you have this strong mindfulness, now I have this angry thought. Okay, the thought is not me, I shouldn't be too attached. Because when we become angry, who hurts the most? Us. Really. It is ourselves. You are actually harming yourself. Maybe not even other people. Other people may not even be there with you, and you're angry about them, or him or her. But you're really harming yourself. This is not being not mindful, unmindful. That's what happens when you lose your mindfulness. If you're aware, okay, now I have these angry thoughts. Take a deep breath. Amitabha, 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 Amitabha. I keep chanting this like a mantra to overcome these thoughts. They're just thoughts. Thoughts cannot harm you. It's only when you're attached to it. Your anger cannot harm you. It can only harm you when you don't have this awareness and you let it take over you. So that's why diligence is important. You need to be very diligent in your meditation. And when I say diligent, I don't mean 1 hour a day. I mean moment to moment awareness. Of course, now we are all beginners on the path, and we cannot be like, I can't do this moment to moment. But try as much as possible in your daily life. Maybe on your way to watching a movie, Amitabha, Amitabha, all the way there. When the movie gets too bored, Amitabha in your mind. When you are in a social situation, when others talking about rubbish or they're trying to maybe spread the negative energy in your mind, Amitabha, Amitabha. Use your ears to listen with things, so you create a strong, what's called self-defense system. and you're not affected by whatsoever around you, not only that nobody can harm you regardless of what they say or do, but also your inner thoughts cannot harm you. That's most important. And a lot of times, what harms us the most? Very good. It is our thoughts. We are like the victim of our thoughts. And we often run by this fake boss, which is your thoughts, your anger, your feelings, your emotions. They're not the real you. You should not let them be your boss. If you let them be your boss, you cannot live a good and happy life. And it's not about changing environment and changing people. If you cannot change the way you think, doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter who you are with, you will still suffer like this because you develop the habit of thinking negatively. Then you are always in this cycle. So it's not about changing your environment or changing people. Some people say, oh, my colleague, my boss, whoever, I want to change my job. I mean, you can change your job, but the thing is, what's most important is first change your perception, change the way you think. Of course, in sometimes maybe like extreme abusive situation, then best remove yourself. There's violence and all that. But like, if you are so accustomed to thinking negatively, then doesn't matter where you go. Right? The same karma will arise. By karma, your thoughts, your intentions, acting through your body, speech, and mind. So most importantly is to change the way we think. I first stop complaining, start Nianfo. The meditation we practice is called Nianfo. I start Amitabha, Amitabha, Amitabha. Knowing that these thoughts are not you, they're not the real you, they're not your boss, don't let it run over your life. Most sufferings in the world, including like domestic violence and many issues in the world, are caused by people getting run by their own anger emotions. They cannot control, and hence it results in tragedy, and then they regret it. But it's because they cannot control in that moment. So that's why we need to be very diligent in our cultivation. If we're not diligent, we cannot control. Even if you understand it in theory, it's not good to be angry and all that, but we can't help it because not enough cultivation of mindfulness, not coming here every week, not doing the practice as much as possible. So this is actually the most important in your life. If you can cultivate this meditation mindfulness, you develop a very strong level of mindfulness in cultivation, meditation, then you can do well in every aspect of your life. Why do you think it is like this?
Because you are connecting to a higher source that gives you energy.
Oh, who's this high source?
Is that wrong?
It is not wrong, but who is this higher source?
No one knows.
It is, we call it, you can call your true self. Yeah, your true self. It's not outside of you, I want to tell you. It's not external. The higher source or vibration or energy is all in you as well, and in everyone else. But it's just whether people know or not. So Buddha called it Buddha nature. And when we talk about God, we tend to think it's external, it's outside of us. Not really. Right? You are your God. You can create how you feel and think in this moment. Correct? Yes. So, very important to be diligent in our practice. You want to say something? Okay. Diligence in your meditation, okay? So next, if you are diligent in meditation, you will arrive what's called meditative concentration or concentration, simply concentration. And what does that mean?
Always in state of mindfulness.
Very good. And you're very focused, you're very aware. And when I say focus, it's like you're very present in the moment. And you're not being bothered by what's happened. And you're not getting like anxious about the future. Right? Because you have this mindfulness, you are aware, and also you are not affected by what other people say or do. Maybe they call you something like bad. To you, it's like, oh, no attachment. No attachment. I listen within, Amitabha, Amitabha, Amitabha. You're also not getting affected by your own monkey mind. Your monkey mind will be much, much less the more mindfulness you develop. When you have a very good level of meditative concentration, your monkey mind disappears. What I mean disappear is that it will not be your boss. Instead, you are the boss. You let all the 6 roots work for you. You let all your thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything work for you. Of course, we're humans. We're going to have thoughts, feelings, and emotions. We're not denying them. In Buddhism, we're not saying these are not good, but it depends on what kind of thought, what kind of feelings, what kind of emotions. For instance, the feeling of empathy, of compassion, loving kindness, all these are all very good emotions, feelings, thoughts. So this is what we should cultivate, wholesome thinking. Instead of greed, anger, ignorance, jealousy, all this unwholesome states of thinking. But we're so accustomed to the unwholesome states of thinking. That's why we need to first be very diligent to try to change the way we think, to think more wholesomely. And once you developed, you put enough effort. I tell you, if you say, I can't do this, I know in theory, but why I cannot control myself every time? The only reason is that you are not diligent enough. You haven't put enough effort. And moment to moment, not enough. A lot. You need to put more effort into your meditation, into your mindfulness. Maybe we cannot do it every moment, to be realistic. But if you are a Buddha, that's what they do. Every moment they are all mindful. But we're not a Buddha yet. But at least a lot of moments in our life, more moments of mindfulness than unmindfulness, than not mindful. Then in that way, you can arrive slowly what's called meditative concentration. Although sometimes we are in meditation, maybe we're walking, we're sitting down, but we're actually not so aware. If our mind is elsewhere, we go very far away. But if you put in good effort, and when you're nearful, you use the right method, lock your ears, listen within, chant with your mouth, lock the root of tongue, look down, lock your ears, lock your eyes, and use your mind to recite the name. Then you are creating this very powerful inner circle. And that's how you can not be affected by the external environment and your internal thoughts. So important to use the right method when you practice meditation. If you're not knowing the right method, maybe you're just like, Amitabha, 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 Amitabha. So you're not actually getting the benefit, and you cannot be meditative concentration, and you cannot arrive in meditative concentration. So why we are not in meditative concentration yet? The Buddha said we have 6 roots: our eyes, our ears, our nose, our tongue, our body, our mind, or our consciousness. All these 6 roots constantly interact with the external environment. While our eyes see something, the mind goes there. Ears hear something, again give rise to like, dislike, and the mind goes there. So whenever the 6 roots interact with the external environment, the mind gives rise to attachment and separation, all kinds of thoughts and thinking. And that's why when we do the meditation, it's important to lock the roots. Lock your hearing, lock the ears within, not outside. You're still hearing it, but you're not paying attention to it. You're focusing within. Lock your mind, mind reciting. Lock your tongue, your mouth reciting. All this locked, and the others will be all locked automatically. And that's how you can be single-minded in a moment. And that's how you can be present. Make sense? But in our daily life, of course, if you're walking to the cinema, and you're gonna watch the road, traffic and all that, so you can't lock your eyes in that circumstances, but you can still, your ears can still pay attention within. In your mind, you can still say Amitabha. So my ears are enough. Just these 2 are enough. right? When we are in a city environment, we can lock more eyes, ears, tongue, ears, tongue, mind. Right? When you're outside, you have to do other things, just the mind and ears, and sometimes mouth, not enough. Okay, if you can be very diligent in your practice enough, then eventually you will arrive what's called meditative concentration. When you have meditative concentration, that's how you can be single-minded. You can be really, really present in the moment. And when you can do that, that's how you arrive in the final stage, what's called prajna. Prajna is a Sanskrit word. It means, literally, it can be translated as wisdom. But it's not just any wisdom. We're here talking about great wisdom, transcendent wisdom, the wisdom of prajna paramita, again Sanskrit word. So a lot of Sanskrit words from the Buddhist text. The reason being, it's if we just translate it into wisdom, we just think, oh, it's just wisdom, but it's not just ordinary common wisdom. Right? This is talking about transcendent wisdom. You transcend all sufferings in life. How you can transcend all sufferings in life is that you understand the true nature of the reality. What's the true nature of the reality? A very important concept. It's not a concept like truth in Buddhism. It's called emptiness, shunyata. Shunyata is a Sanskrit word, literally translated as emptiness. You can perceive the emptiness in all things and all beings. The emptiness of all things, empty of inherent existence. What does that mean? All things are empty of inherent existence.
They are impermanent.
And?
Like keeps changing.
And? Yes? Why it keeps changing? You're free to express what you want to say.
Because they're not real.
Yes, so when you arrive meditative concentration, then you can say you gain this great observation. You are not only attached to the form, the phenomena, you are not only attached to the surface. Now we're too much attached to what's on the surface. We're not seeing the essence of it. For instance, what's this?
Wooden table.
Wooden table. Is this really a wooden table? Now in this moment, it is a wooden table. What happened next moment? Someone come in and smash this.
It's a wooden table.
And then I burn it into ashes. It becomes ashes. And then I put the ashes in the ground. So what's this really? What's this?
Energy.
Let's just say the form first.
Just
Physical body, right? What's this physical body? And is this changing all the time? Yeah, all the cells, right? Even the scientists said that cells are actually moving, they're changing all the time. And every 7 years, there's like a huge change in us, in this body. And we change from like a baby to like an old person and die eventually. So even this is impermanent, with no permanent, fixed nature attached to it. Now, can you think of anything in the world that's unchanged? That's like fixed and permanent, forever lasting. Think of it.
our soul.
But where is it, your soul? Yeah, what's this soul you identify with?
Our soul.
In Buddhism, we don't call it soul. I mean, it's a bit vague
Yeah.
because you say, oh, my soul, but what is your soul? Give me your soul. In Buddhism, we call it mind or heart. It's chitta. Sanskrit word means chitta. This mind, heart. In Chinese translation, they all use the word heart. But where's this heart? But this heart also has illusory nature and the true nature. Because the mind generates all kinds of thoughts, feelings. All this, we already discussed. These are not you either. You can say your soul has all these feelings and all this. they're not you either. They're not the true you either, because your feelings, emotions, everything is changing all the time. Everything. So in Buddhism, it's called, you can perceive all the 5 skandhas are empty of inherent existence. The 5 skandhas, the 5 aggregates, include the physical world and the mental world. The physical is the form, the phenomena, whatever you can see with your physical eyes. And then your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your consciousness, all these are constantly also changing. When we say consciousness, in Buddhism, 8 types of consciousness. It's one mind, but 8 different aspects. This word can sometimes be used interchangeably. And when we say, in the 5 skandha, when we say the consciousness, it means the ability to distinguish. You see something, you can say, oh, this is a table. You have the ability to distinguish. And then, so this is the 6th consciousness. The 7th consciousness is like your attachment. This is also from the mind, fundamental, the tendency to be attached. And the 8th consciousness is like the storehouse consciousness, which store all the seeds from the past, everything from the past, and also in this present life. It's like you have a CPU in you, but maybe you don't really remember so much, because of your attachment and delusions. Too much attachment and delusions, a lot of things you don't remember. For people with deep meditative concentration, they can recollect their past lives. The Buddha also talked about this in the sutras. Or they can have a very good memory. They remember what they've done. Now maybe we don't have good memory. Another reason also not enough mindfulness. So a lot of things we don't remember. Yeah. But when we die, has anyone had near-death experience? I could tell you what happened if you die. But this is if you die without practicing meditation. This was me talking about maybe like 18 years ago, or even longer. Yeah, I wasn't practicing any spiritual practice or meditation, no. And then what happened when you're about to die was like all the thoughts in your life, not all the thoughts, like many events that happen in your life will run through in front of you. And you can see this from many near-death experience. People also share very similar. And they're all random. And it could be maybe someone you really love, and you have this memory of what you experienced together, or some kind of other random episodes. They just appear in front of your eyes, like a movie, like flashback really quickly, all this. Right? Because we have the storehouse consciousness, right, which store all the seeds that happened from the past to the present. Every day, how many random thoughts we have? Like thoughts we cannot control, right? Our thoughts, they just come. Oh, so random, why do I think like this? You notice? You're watching your mind sometimes? Right? It can be very crazy, and all kinds of random episodes can appear. And this all have to do with the storehouse consciousness. It's called a layer consciousness, right? That sometimes maybe something we did in the past, maybe not even this life, in the past lives. Or it could be this life, and then they just come, and then you cannot really control how you think. And to practice mindfulness meditation is not about controlling. If you have these thoughts come, you're just being aware. You don't have to be like, oh, I don't want them. In that way, you create more resistance, and then you could rise to more afflictions. And you're simply being aware, and just change your focus, shift your focus. If you're not focusing on them, they cannot harm you. It's only when you're focusing on them, you give energy to them, that's a problem. Yeah, so just shifting your focus and Amitabha. Okay, so that's the last 6 Paramitas. Wisdom or transcendent wisdom, great wisdom, the wisdom of Prajna Paramita, which means one can perceive all things are empty of inherent existence, and you can perceive the true nature, how all things are actually constantly changing without a permanent fixed nature attached to it. And therefore, we should not be attached. Therefore, we should perceive things as they are, without attachment, without separation. If you can do that, you can transcend all suffering. Simple. Theory sounds simple, but it's not easy to do. No attachment, no separation, to perceive things as they are, the thusness, the suchness of the reality, just as it is. That's it. Just Amitofo. That's it. If you can face life, whatever challenging situation might arise in your life, and with Amitabha, you will not suffer. Really, you can transcend to suffering.
What does Amitabha mean?
Oh, you forgot? Anyone?
Infinite life, infinite light.
And this includes everything. Infinite light includes wisdom. Light means wisdom. Infinite light means space. You say, I'm my soul. Soul transcend the space, transcend the form. And call it the true mind. Like the Buddha said, the true mind is actually everywhere, all encompassing, infinite. The quantum physicists also said the same thing. Right? They said the quantum field is everywhere. We are actually all interconnected. We are actually all this one source.
Do you think science will prove or disprove Buddhism?
Oh, now proof. Really, top scientists in China, not only China, also in the world. A lot of them are Buddhist, and top scientists in China. I'm talking about Nobel Prize. Not sure whether he won, but he got nominated, and he is promoting what I'm practicing, the Nianfo practice. He's a quantum physicist. Yeah, quantum physicist is proving Buddhism is correct. And there's a saying is that quantum physicists use years of study to finally get to the point where the Buddhas and the monks have already been waiting at the summit, the top of the mountain, and then they started climbing up and say, "Oh, you guys are already there." You must say something.
In Buddhism, do you guys believe that your thoughts create your reality?
Your thoughts create your reality. Yeah, your
You guys
mind.
believe that?
Your mind creates your reality. Yeah. Thoughts, feelings, emotion, a lot of things create your reality. This reality in Buddhism is called illusion, not real. Why it's not real?
Because it's created by us, our mind.
Yeah, and also because nothing is permanent. Do you know what I mean? Even Earth is not permanent. We're talking about the more, even Earth is not permanent here. Nothing is permanent here. So in Buddhism, this is called an illusion, which means it's like a dream. So I'm currently talking to you in a dream. We are all dreaming in our own dream. And the Buddha is a fully awakened one and try to wake us up. When you are waking up, then you will not be attached to whatsoever here. But then that's where the fun is. It's like it's all a game, and you can play it. But of course, do good things to help others.
So in Buddhism, why are we here?
Very good. I can talk about it for an hour, but simple. You go, after you finish, you go down, there's a painting called Samsara. You heard of Samsara? 6 rounds of reincarnation. The reason why we reincarnate is due to a thought of ignorance. In another word, attachment, craving, and particularly the attachment to lust. There's a sutra called Sutra of Entry into the Womb. And the Buddha described how the consciousness actually entered into the mother's womb. You can have a look online. Very interesting. Fascinating. Yeah, it's because of our attachment of ignorance. So now we can't reincarnate into this world. And it's actually not so ideal according to the Buddha. Because initially you are infinite. I mean, your true nature is infinite. You don't have to confine yourself into this physical body. And to come down to this, in Buddhism it's called low dimensional existence. But because you got lessons, you're here to learn. So 2 types of people come here. One is because You've got karmic lessons. You have to learn ignorance and all this, so you fall into this low dimensional existence. Another type, for instance, like the Buddha or Bodhisattvas, like enlightened being arahants, they could come back because of their vow to help save sentient beings here. Two types of people are in prison. First are the criminals, because they committed evil. Second are people who go there to educate the criminals and to help save them. So that's a metaphor I'm using. Yes. So we're here due to ignorance. Later I can explain to you about the painting when we go down here. And yeah, there's a QR code on the painting, and it will lead to a video, my YouTube video, and explain this concept in more depth. Yeah, a very big concept. And because Buddha is a perfect enlightened being, so he will not lie to us. And he has realized this, the truth of life and the universe. So which means he understands things correctly. But you don't have to believe in me or what the Buddha said. Even the Buddha said you don't have to believe it. If you don't want to believe, you can practice it and see it for yourself. Yes, to experience it and see it for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Okay. You're late for your movie. The movie doesn't seem so important now because we have great wisdom. Okay, so maybe let's do a merit transfer. Okay. May we be born in the Western Pure Land.
In the Western Pure Land.
Have the 9 great lotuses.
Have the 9 great lotuses
as our parents.
As our parents.
When the lotus opens.
When the lotus opens.
We realize the Dharma of non-arising.
We realize the Dharma of non-arising.
And have non-regressing bodhisattvas.
And have non-regressing bodhisattvas.
To be our companions.
To be our companions.
May all beings.
May all beings.
Be happy.
Be happy.
And free from suffering.
And free from suffering.
Namo Amituofo.
Namo Amituofo.
So the meditation we're practicing tonight is called Mindful Meditation. It comes from a school in Buddhism called Pure Land Buddhism. Many schools in Buddhism which represents the different teachings, different meditation techniques taught by the Buddha. And while we practice this meditation, first we want to obtain peace of mind as much as possible in every moment of our life, or many moments of our life. It's a very simple meditation you can carry with you anywhere you go, and you can practice it anywhere, anytime. You don't have to be like sitting or anything, no. And to observe the breath can be a subtle practice. This practice is much easier than simply observing your breath. So just carry this with you as much as possible in your daily life, then you will feel this profound peace in you. And I'm talking from my own experience and not just from reading somewhere from the book. This is my 7th year of practicing. This is my 7th year of practicing this meditation. And another reason why we practice this meditation, the Buddha also told us from the sutra. Sutra means the Buddhist scriptures. If we Nianfo, we recite the name of Amitabha Buddha, Amituofo, Amitabha in English or Sanskrit. At the end of our life, we will see Amitabha Buddha, and our consciousness can migrate to the Buddha's Pure Land. The Buddha's Pure Land is a world with no suffering and no bliss. It's outside samsara, outside the cycle of reincarnation. In Buddhism, the samsara is like a dream. It's an illusion. It is unreal. Being unreal because everything is impermanent and nothing lasts here. And why we are here? Because we generate a thought of ignorance and attachment, craving, and we fall down. Our true nature is actually infinite light. And we can realize the true nature when we gain rebirth to Amitabha Buddha's Pure Land. This may sound like a fantasy or difficult to believe, but this has been practiced in China for over 1,600 years. And many, many people, they practice nearful, this meditation, and they see Amitabha Buddha either during their lifetime or at the time of their death. Well, while they're still conscious, they tell people, now I see the Buddha, I go with the Buddha. After they see the Buddha, they left while they're still aware, they see the Buddha, and then they start breathing, the consciousness migrate with the Buddha to the Pure Land. So there are so many recorded rebirth cases like this from ancient China till nowadays. So I have a YouTube channel called Pure Land Buddhism, and I also shared a lot of rebirth cases there, and also particularly this practice. This is my area of expertise because if you were to practice any meditation in Buddhism, you need to choose one practice. It's not good to, today I'm practicing this, tomorrow I'm practicing that, and if you're practicing too many different methods or two methods, your mind can be scattered. You cannot focus. The reason of why we practice meditation is we want to arrive in meditative concentration, to be focused, so best you stick with one practice, and you choose the practice that is most suitable for you, and then you stick with it and you keep practicing it, and for some time you will definitely feel the tremendous benefit of the practice. Okay, so that's a bit of background of this. We have like books downstairs called Pure Land Buddhism in One Lifetime, and it's free. You can take them with you if you want to have more readings. And we also got the little galleries all around in the tea house, so you can have a look. It's all about Pure Land Buddhism and this particular practice. Okay, thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thank you so much.